Top five fruits. So we're going to start off with some honorable mentions here because, frankly, there's a lot of things that are technically fruits that, they're not really sweet and you can't really eat them by themselves. So it just didn't feel right to compare them with those sort of archetypical fruits that we're all thinking of. But either way, I couldn't live without them. So, first honorable mention, we got the tomato, right? And tomatoes, just I couldn't live without them. Like I said, right? Any sauce you're making, you're throwing tomato in there. Great on sandwiches. Cherry tomatoes are great by themselves too. So, this would really be in contention for one of the top spots. Honestly, it's too different from those regular fruits for me to really compare them fairly. So, that's my honorable mention. We also got avocado, right? Guacamole is the best sauce. I don't know if it counts as a sauce, but it's the best sauce. And same thing with sandwiches. Throw this in sushi too. You can't cook it, so I got to dock it a few points for that. Also goes bad pretty quickly, so I got to dock it a few points for that. But great source of fat, great source of fiber, great fruit. Um, and kind of switching lanes here on the sour side, we got the lemon, right? Um, so this is undisputably a fruit, right? Some people might say avocados ain't fruits, tomatoes ain't fruits. Lemon, everyone agrees it's a fruit, but it's sour, right? So I'm thinking sweet when I think fruits. So I didn't really catch on to lemon, but I throw this in everything, right? And on a similar term, lime, right? A lot of people ask what's the difference between lemon and lime. I like lime because it has that bit of that tropical tang. So when I'm cooking those old world dishes, especially Mediterranean, I go for the lemon. If I'm adding a Latin flair, if I'm doing some Caribbean, or if I'm just trying to be avant garde with it, throw in some lime. So those are my honorable mentions. Now let's get into the real top five. So number five, it's the apple. Now, apple's a little bit of a weird one for me. Frankly, I don't love the taste of raw apples. I got to admit, I do like that crunch though. Anyway, you give me a bowl of fruit, and there's an apple in there. It's not really going to be my first choice. I would eat most fruits before I eat that apple. So you're probably wondering, right? If you don't eat apples like regularly, it's just a raw fruit. Why are they in your top five, right? And that's because apples really have two big redeeming mediums, you could say. So the first one of those is going to be in any cooked application, right? So prime example, apple pie, right? There's nothing better than an apple pie. Um, but you also got other cooked apple and baked goods. You got apple cakes are really good, also pretty underrated too. Almost as good as apple pies. Um, with donuts, the best donut, everyone knows this, is an apple fritter. So that's another way where apples kind of come out on top. And even in kind of those more savory applications, I like to have some roasted apples with dinner a lot of times, and it pairs beautifully with pork. So it's gotten to the point where, and I don't eat a ton of pork, but it's gotten to the point where I'll only eat pork if I'm also having it with apples, just because I see it as an opportunity to really eat apples. So that's really one place where apples shine. Another place is when it comes to drinks, right? And all kind of varieties of juiced apples, including apple juice, right? It's the best fruit juice. OJ can come at me. Um, but then also apple cider, right? Both kind of the soft and hard kinds. I can go for some Martinelli's. I can go for some Angry Orchard. I got my Angry Orchard shirt on actually, just because you see me at a party, I'm going to be drinking an Orchard. It's kind of my drink of choice. Not sponsored, by the way, but take it a step above that. There's apple brandy is really good. probably one of the best liquors to drink straight. You know, it's not super applicable to lots of things, but I just got back from France, and everyone's thinking of France cognac, right, for the liquor there, but they actually drink an apple brandy called Calvados more, and Calvados is delicious. It's one of the best things I've drank. So it's more like a dessert thing, and it's got a nice sweetness, got a nice smoothness. So yeah, apple, love it in drink form, love it in cooked form. I can take it or leave it in raw form, but again, I mean, look at that, that's iconic. So yeah, that's apple. Number four, cherry. So cherry, unlike apple, is something I will eat in a lot of raw applications, just with a bowl of fruit. Not with these candied cherry. I'm not going to eat a bowl of the candied cherries. I mean, I would, but like this is probably not good for my health. But sweet cherries, tart cherries, there's a lot of variety. Cherries are just really good to eat by themselves. The pit is a little bit annoying. That's going to dock at some points. But I love cherries in that application. There's a lot of other applications of cherries too. I will say it's not quite on par with apple, but the big kind of kicker here is the only thing better than apple pie is going to be a cherry pie. I love cherry pie a la mode. I like doing the red, white, and blue pies where it's like cherry and then apple here, and then well, that'll be a spoiler alert, but there's another fruit that makes up those red, white, and blue pies, and it's not blueberry. So yeah. Also, another good baked application, Black Forest cakes are really good. So that's kind of your go-to cherry cake. Cherries are great with chocolate, and even when it's not the star of the show, the thing that I really like about cherries is kind of like the light at the at the end of the tunnel, right? It's a little treat on top of your treat. There's a reason they call it the cherry on top, right? And that's kind of the thing about cherries is there's a certain quality about them. It's almost like a seductive quality. It's like every time I eat a cherry, we were just talking about apple. Apple is considered the forbidden fruit, but cherry is, every time I eat a cherry, it's the height of hedonism, right? It's like I'm making a Faustian bargain to eat the cherry. So it's really a powerful fruit. Put it in drinks, put it on top of a ice cream sundae, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So cherry number four. Number three, the blackberry. So out of pretty much any fruit, right? The blackberry is one which I would most readily like eat a big bowl of. It's one of the most enjoyable fruits by itself, right? And I mean, we could just take a look at it. Really cool looking. It's composed of many tiny spheres, which gives it a really nice mouthfeel, and it's more robust than something like a raspberry, right? Raspberry is a little bit too delicate for me. Um, so I don't know. There's just something so fun about eating a bowl of blackberries. I feel like I'm a bear. Uh, I will say, applications of blackberries not quite as strong as apple or even really cherry. But there's some bangers out there. Prime example, blackberry cobbler, right? Um, Only thing that beats a cherry pie, blackberry cobbler. So gotta love blackberry cobbler. And yeah, there's some drinking applications. There's blackberry mead. You can throw them in a smoothie. That's another way you can consume blackberries. Jams is another really good application for them. So if you got like a blackberry and cherry jam, that's probably a top tier jam. Um, but yeah, I would say one thing that really boosts the BlackBerry in my rankings is the fact that it's very forageable, right? So we mentioned the kind of structure of the BlackBerry, how it's composed of several what looks like smaller berries. So that's called an aggregate berry. And the cool thing about those is, at least in North America, every aggregate berry you find, except for one, is going to be edible, and I'm not going to tell you which one isn't edible. I'm kidding. I am going to tell you. It's called golden seal, and you'll be. It's pretty easy to identify. It only grows like one new leaf. It's pretty weird looking. I'll probably throw a picture up on the screen. But the point is, right? If you're out in the wild, you see an aggregate berry. It's and you check that it's not golden seal, which is a pretty quick check. It's safe to eat, and that's something that's really beautiful. It's a great beginner berry to forage, as well as all the other aggregate berries. But blackberries are the best aggregate berry, and it's just fun to pick too. You know, I actually picked all these earlier. It wasn't out in the wild; it was at a farm. But still, I got a bunch of blackberries. Really fun to pick. So shout out to Omi for letting me pick the blackberries. But yeah, I'm gonna make a cobbler with this later. And yeah, there's not much else to say. So blackberries are number three. Two, it's bananas. Now listen, I'm bananas about bananas. While blackberries may be, one of the most enjoyable fruits to eat by itself, bananas have got to be the most convenient, right? It's already pre-wrapped, perfect peel, and the shape very easy to carry, right? A lot of people might argue that oranges are the most convenient fruit to eat because they also got that peel. But spheres are a little bit harder to carry. And also, oranges are pretty annoying to peel most of the times. The thing about bananas, though, they're so fun and easy to peel. And a lot of people get it wrong. They try to peel from the stem part. Then you can't do it like that. You got to peel from the bottom. So puncture it with your fingernail and then pull down, right? And this is the perfect time to eat it if you take a look. It's perfectly ripe banana, got yellow, but starting to get brown spots, right? So that's when you want to eat it. Anyway, so you just peel it like that, and then yeah, that's how you do it. So, and the reason I know that's the right way to peel it is because that's how monkeys peel it. And that's another thing about bananas that you got to give them some credit for is monkeys eat bananas, um, and that that's just cool. So if you watch the animal video, monkeys are the number one animal. And while bananas aren't the number one fruit, they're very close. So this is a tough decision. That definitely boosts their points a little bit and gets them to the number two slot at least. So let's talk about some of these applications of bananas because there are a lot of them. Um, I'd probably say one of my favorite ones is smoothies. Bananas are the best smoothie fruit, hands down. That's easy, hands down, best smoothie fruit. I don't even really care about other smoothies for the most part, besides banana smoothies. Um, Banana splits are also really good. So we were talking about sundaes a little bit ago when we were talking about cherries, but banana split is the classic sundae. That defined a whole generation. We got to bring that back. I don't really see banana splits a lot these days, but whenever I see it, it's a treat. And then with baking, we got banana bread. That's always really good. We got bananas Foster. We got banana pudding. So really, banana is just all over the map here. We got to give it credit for all of that. And on top of that, it's just a fun fruit. So yeah, not much more to say. Good job, banana. So number one is pineapple. And I actually left the pineapple at home today, but got the next best thing. So, why do I like pineapple so much? Well, let's look at it, right? It is got to be the coolest looking fruit. I mean, it's got spikes. I, I don't think there's any other fruits that has that. Plus, it's got all the leaf things on the top. Sometimes I cut that part off. I wear it on top of my head like a crown. Because it basically is a crown. Because the pineapple is a fruit for a king, right? And although I said, blackberries are the most fun to eat and bananas are the most convenient to eat, pineapples have the most aura when you eat them because they're super sweet, nice and tangy. They're really good, but they kind of hurt a little bit from that acidity. It's kind of eating you while you're eating it. So I think that just shows that when you're eating pineapple, it just kind of shows you're willing to sacrifice something for the greater good there. And yeah, there's lots of applications of pineapple. I'm gonna get a little controversial here, but I think that pineapple is a sleeper hit in basically all foods. And we can go to any type of cuisine, right? We kind of got the obvious ones, right? Like love to put some pineapple in poke bowls. It's great in sushi. Um, it's great in curries. So pineapple coconut curry, that's really good. And yes, it does belong on pizza, despite what some people think. I've even seen some people put it in pasta. I don't. That's a little bit too far for me. But pineapple works in all sorts of things, and then also in dessert applications, right? Everyone's thinking, oh, pineapple upside down cake, right? And that's the big one. But it also plays a super strong support role in all sorts of other desserts, right? So I'll hazard to say this: carrot cakes, the best carrot cakes have pineapple, and the pineapple is almost better than the carrots even. Um, so pineapple really enhances lots of desserts like that. Also, I was talking about a banana split with the banana. Um, the traditional recipe for a banana split, you actually put a little bit of pineapple on top of some of the whipped cream in addition to cherries. So um, pineapple is making moves pretty much everywhere. And the thing is, you never see it coming. Um, in juices too. Pineapple. I mean, I got the juice for a reason, guys. Um, drink wise, it's delicious. It is the go-to tropical fruit. Um, pina coladas, Malibu pineapples. Those are top tier. I mean, pina coladas are my favorite drink. Period. My favorite like cocktail drink. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Pineapple. It's tropical, right? It sneaks up on you and it's sweet, but it can bite, right? If you eat too much of it, it can bite. And I think not only is that cool for a fruit, that's just a cool kind of vibe for society in general. So, cheers to pineapple. You win, best fruit. And yeah, thanks for watching.